How do you change a city? You ask the people there what matters. You listen, you plan, then you act. Together. The only way a city can thrive is through community vision and collective action.
A community vision is important to any city because it articulates a community's goals for itself. And I think that when you can get a community together to agree on a vision, it really highlights the ability of that community to collaborate.
With anything that you're trying to tackle, things don't improve unless you have your eye on it. And unless you've set some goals, and unless you've written those down in terms of a plan, and that everyone knows what that plan is.
San Antonio is unique. In 2010, we created a plan and mobilized behind it. Public institutions, foundations, corporations, and nonprofits have aligned behind the vision, with one dedicated nonprofit leading the way.
As important as it is to have a vision for a community and a collective plan for where we want to go, it's equally important to have some accountability and some very real benchmarks to whether or not we're doing well and highlighting where we need to do better.
SA2020 is incredibly important to all of San Antonio, not just for the data and the research that they do, but really for nonprofit organizations that work with them and that are actually able to help drive their goals and their missions, but also for organizations like Bank of America. We're able to come and work with SA2020 to say, here's what we're trying to accomplish in the community.
I think the uniqueness is in being the connector between the nonprofit world, the funders world, and the city dynamics. I think it's important that somebody sits in that role and in that space because everybody else has kind of their own piece of the world going on. So for somebody to be just entirely focused on collecting and connecting those dots is a really big deal. It's important.
It's important to celebrate incremental progress and highlight challenges.
We know that there are some goals that we have named as our city that we are not all the way there yet. But we are actually tracking and working towards innovative solutions to say, this isn't working over here. What do we need to do as a community to pivot so we make sure we achieve our goals? We had Molly from SA2020 obviously come speak to our board and also our shareholders on 2 different occasions. And the outcome of that was actually very fascinating. It not only drove them toward wanting to help improve things in San Antonio and the community, and the vast majority of our shareholders do not even live in Texas, but it also inspired them. You would think that the lower performing indicators would maybe be a negative, but it actually encouraged them to do more in those areas and say, I want to double down on that. I want to fix that thing that's falling down below where we want it to be. That's made a really big difference in their energy level and their interest in wanting to be involved in this combined effort toward improving the entire San Antonio community.
So, how can you change San Antonio? Everyone is capable. Because SA2020 transparently reports on our shared goals, we know where we're making progress and where we need to focus more energy and resources and advocate for real systemic change.
I think education of what that vision is important in the city. As an individual, come and volunteer. Go where your heart leads you to volunteer and do what connects you.
Chad Miller Auto Care has been very excited to support SA2020 in its mission because as a business, we ask our community to invest in us every single day when they come in to be our client. So we feel it's perfectly reasonable for them to expect that we would invest back in them, and when everybody has a better opportunity, then we're all more successful.
I think it's important for people to appreciate that they are leaders and they have the opportunity to be leaders in their own families, in their own neighborhoods, in their own schools, in their own workplaces. And so you don't have to always run for office to be a leader and effectuate change in your community. You can lead your family, and you can lead your classroom, and you can lead your school.
At SA2020, we know that when we work together toward common goals, positive community change happens. But we don't just believe that, we prove it. SA2020, driving progress toward a shared vision for a thriving San Antonio.